Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good evening and welcome. I'd sure like to know what that's all about. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Let me get this here. It's a very special show tonight once we get the audio and everything else figured out. Thank you for stopping by what is now the 397th episode. 397. That's amazing. 397th episode of the number one rated show here on IPMNation.com. You're in to All Natural Being and the gong heard round the world broadcast. As it happens, thanks to our good friends at Telestream's Wirecast, live from the Transitional Radio Uplink here in Columbus, Ohio, directly to IPMNation.com. Not to mention multicast live over on Facebook and allnaturalbeing.com as well. So we're fired up to be there. And on the Brian Brawdy app. Of course, it's rebroadcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and Twitter. Greetings wherever you are. Here in the garden of the mortals, the labyrinth of life itself. The ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, the flukes, the whims, the sheer havoc, the synchronicity, serendipity of it all. Blind alleys and cul-de-sacs, most certainly, but never a dead end until you tap out. Right? Because that's ultimately the meaning of life. As long as you and I decide we're still in for the game, we're still in to square our shoulders, we're still going to take shots, we're still going to put our heart's highest priority top of the list, right? Right? We're always calling on the true wit, wisdom, and wallop of our inner whisper. Not some watered-down, tepid version of who we are, but the true inner whisper. Till we do that, we haven't tapped out. And no way you're here to do anything other than out-brutal the brutal. That is the cut and shuffle that fate can deal you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. But before we hit it this evening, I want to say a quick hello to my friends here in the United States and Canada, Mexico, the UK, my good friends in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, and France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, and Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Iran, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Argentina, Peru, Austria, Poland. To those joining us from all over the globe, it really is great to have you with us. And I truly am fired up to be driving your bandwagon, to be avidly you, to be your virtual hitchhiker if you're catching us out and about on the go. And as you know, I say every night, that's what I love about riding shotgun, is getting to hang out with you, whatever you're doing. So let me ask you a question. What are we waiting for? Here's our opportunity this evening to mortal up. It's time to like the way you think. It's time to be your all-natural being. It's time for you to bring your grit to the relentless grip of life. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. We've got a very special show this evening. Maybe run about an hour or thereabouts. But we've designed this show because, we're hanging out. Monday nights is when we get to hang out with Derek Noel from Derek Noel Fitness. We'll be doing that here in just a bit. But it's also a very special show to the Transitional Radio family because of the huge announcement we'll be making at the bottom of the hour, right? Boy, well, that doesn't hurt at all, that kind of volume. But the very special announcement we'll be making, you know what, there's got to be a way for all those. There you go. How's that going? No, then I can't hear anything at all. But a truly special show that we have this evening, coming up at the bottom of the hour, with our good friend Henry Noel. But before we do that this evening, let's hop here in the thread. Matt, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Henry was just talking about you. Jenny, nice to see you. Allison, I had a blast last evening hanging out with Allison. Thank you very much. Lee, nice to see you. You're echoing, I think. I know it, Lee. Yeah, believe me, it's beating me up in my eardrums. So let's do this. Let's go. Jen Coffee, much better. Oh, you're feeling better or the echoing is better? Yeah, no, what are you going to do? All right, let's do this. Let's jump to Derek Noel. Let me first say hello to Christian. You're good now. All right, great. Thank you very much. Good evening, Christian. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Let's go ahead. Now, a part of what we're doing for the 81 to Win is that we're going to be working on getting in the exact amount of fitness that we need in order to prepare for being up for 81 hours. And what I do, or what I think about, is that I needed to get an expert. So I called on my good friend, Derek Noel, at Derek Noel Fitness, and he's going to join us this evening for the first half of the show. Derek, that's right. There you go. How are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing today, Brian?
Oh, great. Well, it's nice to see we've worked out the audio.
Well, audio is nice.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. A little bit of echo in my ear, but then maybe that's just me. Jenny says your sound is good now. Okay, great. Well, thank you all. Let me know if we're having a little bit of trouble there. I appreciate it. All right, so Derek, while they're busy working, figuring out what it is that keeps you and I from being able to talk in a normal tone of voice without the echo, give me an idea of what we're talking about this week. We caught up last week, I believe, in a very general sense. But what are some of the things you'd like to talk about this evening? What for someone, as you know, my age, getting ready, preparing for this 81-hour marathon, what are some of the things that I need to be focusing on?
So things you need to be focusing on, number one, is making sure that you are physically prepared. And because I feel like we all know you're mentally prepared.
Thank you, brother.
But physically prepared. So I actually have I'm calling it the Brawdy. What did I write? The Brawdy bounce back.
Oh, wow. I like that.
So, yeah. So I have that, which is kind of like a 1.0. So
okay.
This is going to be refined because you are officially 2 months out, by the way. I don't know if you realize that. Almost to the day.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, 14th.
Wow, look at that.
So time's flying. So we really need to make sure we jump on this because realistically, that's like 8 weeks. I'm really bad at calendars, but it's pretty close.
Okay, very cool.
So I do have a kind of first week or two to prime your body to be able to move into some more things, plus as you're still recovering. The other thing I wanted to talk about, resolutions, because a lot of people, they jump on the resolution train for a couple weeks.
Okay. Totally up to you, brother. Totally up to you.
Well, then, first, because I want to leave everyone in suspense for.
I've heard of Warren Buffett.
So whenever someone starts working with Warren Buffett, and of course this is the grapevine because Buffett's actually a very private person, but when they're goal setting for anyone who's working under him, working with Berkshire Hathaway, anything like that, he tells them to write out, especially at the beginning of the year, write out a list of everything you could possibly ever want to do in the year.
Okay, great. Okay. Wow. Well, they definitely go to the bottom of your list, I would think. Ooh, very nice. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, being able to stay up for 81 hours, right? Well, I'm in. I'm ready. Well, to be honest with you, Derek, I have that 24-hour under my belt. So for me, I kind of like have a quarter of it already in the bag. You know what I mean? So I feel pretty good about what I should be able to pull off, given that.
Kind of like what they say about marathons. Like once you can run, like.
Sure. Right. Absolutely. That sounds great. Yes, I do.
Shorter duration. I'm not talking like interval training, because heart rate and stuff like that. But jumping on the rower for like 15, 20 minutes, just getting your body warm and used to it, getting it going. You can honestly do that whenever you want in the day. I would recommend doing it first thing in the morning.
Okay.
Fasted cardio is a whole other conversation. It's just nicer to be able to get. I'm honestly not a huge fan of doing like hours on hours of cardio. So being able to get that out of the way first thing in the morning really works. Plus it wakes you up.
Very cool.
So probably 3 days, I would say like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of deal like that. Or if you want that rest day, I do recommend taking a rest day on either Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
And here's where the fun is going to begin. We're going to get that body used to working again.
Okay.
In all cylinders. In order to do that, we are going to lay off of the weights for this first week or two. We're going to go all body weight movements for the most part.
Okay.
We're calling this one the body weight blast. Your goal, and this isn't going to be a full-on workout like all in one period of time. I want you to break this up throughout the day because, again, you want your body to just be used to moving throughout the day, especially because when that 81 days is coming up, that's what we're going to be doing. You're not going to be doing a workout for an hour and a half. We're going to be breaking it up into segments, probably like 5-10 minutes at a time, if that. So, and I will send this to you, but everyone who is watching or listening is going to want to get their pencils ready if they want to do this with you because it is going to be a really good way to get that body used to moving again.
Okay.
We're starting 2 to 3 days a week. I would recommend doing this on like a Monday, Thursday, or if you're going to do it 3, if you're determined, like a Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Oh, I like that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now is to make sure you're not going full body weight unless you know for a fact that you can. I would actually kind of lean forward
Okay.
and put my toes behind me as I'm leaning. That way, as I get fatigued, as my arms get tired, as my chest gets tired, I am making sure that I will not, fall flat on the face because
Groovy.
I have a couple rules. That's number 1 is don't fall on your face.
I can imagine that.
Third one. So we have push-ups, we have dips. Third is pull-ups or pull-downs,
Okay.
which you can use cables for.
All right.
If you don't, if you only have like a bar to do a pull-up with, you can also tie a couple of those resistance bands around the top, put your foot into it.
Okay.
Let it sit right in the arch of your foot, and that will help provide a little extra help to get you off.
Okay.
So there are a few different ways to be able to do that. I figured I would throw different options in for everyone to be able to do these at home again.
Groovy.
50 to 100. So depending on where you're at. Fourth, weighted crunches. If you've never done weighted crunches before, you want to make sure that you're keeping your core engaged. You want to make sure that your lower back is on the ground. A lot of people have back issues when it comes to crunches because that lower back arches because you don't quite have a super healthy back. So making sure that your feet are planted, your knees are up, will definitely do a really good job with that. Doing 100 of them. I do them personally with a 25-pound plate, and I break that down into 4 sets of 25.
Okay.
Again, if you need to change that around, you can change that around. Just plate right behind the head. Make sure you're not cranking on that neck, especially because you can do crunches.
That sounds great.
Next up, 100 calf raises. You can do these weighted or with no weight. I actually like to channel The Rock for this, who does 150 of them 3 ways. So if you're doing 100 of them, I would probably do like 33 to 35 with toes pointed out.
Okay.
Straight on, and then toes pointed in. So when I say toes pointed in, I'm talking about like pigeon toes.
Okay.
That hits, there are 2 main muscles in your calves, but there are 3 muscle heads. So that hits all 3 of them when you're doing that. And that'll also help out with your running a little bit, help improve that stride with the bounce in your calf.
Okay.
Next up, those good old bodyweight squats we talked about last week.
Okay.
Make sure you're getting those hips back. You're sitting down right in between your heels. That hips back first is really important. If you don't go down hips first, all that tension is going to be loaded into the knees. And if anyone has knee issues or have kind of finicky knees, that's a sure way to kind of aggravate those things. So making sure you push that butt back and then sit almost like you're sitting back into a chair. That's what's going to work best.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Lastly, 100 hanging knee raises, especially because you have those hanging things.
Okay. Got them.
Where you just put your forearms in there and then you can hang off the bar with those. 100 hanging knee raises, break that up. 100 is actually quite a bit, but it's really going to get those lower abs working.
Okay.
The goal for this is, again, to make sure that your body's moving and to make sure we're hitting everything in your body and we're not just prioritizing 1 or 2 different things.
Sounds good.
I don't need that anymore. And that is the good old body weight blast.
And then you're going to send me an email with all these instructions, right? Just like when you take on clients. So even though I've been taking very copious notes, you'll send me an email highlighting all the different things that I need to be focusing on.
Indeed. And you just let me know if you need any form videos. That is easy peasy for me to just record for you and get sent to you.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, my friend. Well, I most certainly appreciate all the effort that you put into getting this list up and going. And I'm going to print your email. I'm going to post it up in the gym, and I'm going to go exactly, days of the week, loaded into my calendar, and the like, so that I know that I'm doing exactly what you say, so that we can catch up next week. I'll be able to report back exactly what's happening.
Good.
Sounds good. All right. So, Derek, how can everyone get a hold of you? Derek Noel Fitness. What's the website?
Right now, website is in progress. I don't want to do too much out of that. But you can always find me on Facebook at facebook.com/the Derek Noel.
Fantastic.
That's DerekNoel. You can also find me on Instagram at the Derek Noel as well.
Sounds good. Well, Derek, I can't thank you enough, especially for all the energy and effort you put into coming up with something to allow me to bounce back. And I'm looking forward to your email and to reporting back to you next week as to what I was able to pull off.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds good. All right, Derek. Thanks so much for everything, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So, as promised, there goes Derek Noel. Hold on here 1 second. And I just wanted to let you know, I was very excited about the opportunity to work with him, because it is true that I had a certification from the National Academy of Sports Medicine, but that was a lot of years ago. And, like anything else going on, you think, well, I knew it at one time, but what's it like now? And you think, wow, okay, well, maybe I really don't know. What the latest and the greatest is. So I'm very excited to have Derek on board and the folks at Derek Noel Fitness to kind of make sure, right? Because me, I just go out for a run, I go out for a bike ride, I go out for whatever. I mean, it snowed here the other day, so I packed a bunch of stuff in a Polk sled and dragged it behind me on some skis, So I have a different idea of what it means, but I'm so excited to have Derek on board and kind of giving me some of those things that we can focus on, and the things that I'll be able to do as I get ready to prepare, because I have to believe that when it comes to staying up for 81 hours, a 25-pound lighter version of Brian will have to find it easier to stay awake than the current Brian. And actually, I found out today I'm down 5 pounds already just from, running in general Meshuggah. So I have to think that a lighter Brian will be able to stay up longer. So that's obviously a goal and something that I'm very excited about. All right. So bottom of the hour, let me say good evening to John. Sorry about some of the audio problems there. We're still getting this whole thing worked out. And let me just say that if it worked, it's a credit to Wayne. If it didn't work, it's my fault. And by saying that, I mean that, we want to do the radio show for IPM Nation. And let me say hello to everyone in the IPM Nation chat room, and also everyone here over on Facebook. John, nice to see you. Hey, brother, nice to see you as well. Transitional Radio, hello, everyone. But a little bit of the glitch comes when we try to do a radio and broadcast live to Facebook kind of thing. So that's why sometimes the audio is off, or this is off, or that is off. So we will keep working on it. Good evening, Henry. Nice to see you. We will keep working on that as we bring Derek back, because I think it's important from time to time to have Derek on camera, because there might be something where I go, oh, would you mind showing me? And then we're able to work that out. And Derek, thank you for hanging out with us in the thread. So if you have any questions that pertains to anything that Derek was discussing, please, by all means, throw them right up here in the thread, and we'll see while Derek's here if he can get some of the answers for you. That would be great. Now, it's kind of like a bitter, sad day for me. And I thought we would start with a little bit. Marcia, thank you so very much. Hello to you as well. I thought I'd start with a little bit of maybe like a recap. John, please tell your mom we said hello. I thought I'd start with a little bit of recap, but what is everyone? A month ago, 2 months ago, the amnesia keeps me in check when it comes to the calendar. Well, that time ago, it was clear that I wasn't going to be able to continue to do what I wanted to do in terms of all natural being and what was going on here in the show. I wasn't going to be able to pull it off. The headaches, the nausea, the ringing in my ears, the Parkinsonism, the tremors. It was clear that when Ashley and my doctors and everyone else got together, that I just wasn't going to be able to continue to operate at the level, right, of or even if it's 5 nights a week, half hour, getting in there and doing a show. And they said, look, if you really want to heal, if you really want to recover, you're going to need to take some time to rest. So I turned to my good friend, Henry Noel, and said, Henry, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to take some time off just to be able, if you listen to the doctors, just to be able to sleep around the clock pretty much, right? They didn't want me doing anything. They just wanted me horizontal, as much bed rest as I could get. So I remember the call with Henry. It was kind of tough because this is something, what are we at, our 390 some odd, 394th, is it, episode of All Natural, 397th episode of All Natural Being. Thank you very much. And to think about walking away from it, which I had to do when we first found the tumor and what it took to get through those surgeries, the 21 days in the hospital, I was certainly had walked away from it, but I didn't want to walk away from it again. So I called my good friend Henry and said, boy, do I have a favor to ask. He goes, like you need a cup of sugar? You need, what do you need? I said, no, although I would love to be in Cuenca and be able to come right next door and go, hey, do you get any molasses? I need some molasses for something I'm cooking. But I said, no, I got a pretty big favor. And he said, oh, what do you need? And I said, well, would you mind taking over the show for a month? And for those of you that have been following All Natural Being, you know that for about a month, I think it was a full 4 weeks, Henry very graciously. Now, what you may not know about Henry is that he's a writer, very prolific writer. He's a world traveler. He writes for a magazine in Cuenca, kind of like an around town, everything going on in Cuenca and Ecuador kind of magazine. And when he isn't traveling himself, and he's also working on a book, right? So he has timelines and deadlines, and he has all these different things that he has to hit in order to be able to do that. So I said, Henry, if you don't mind, could you work into your busy schedule? We'll cut it to a half hour a night, or we'll be able to do it a half hour a night. Would you consider taking over All Natural Being? Because I just don't want to go off air, right? I want to be able to continue to be there. And for the people that want to come by and hang out. And of course, in true Henry fashion, he goes, yeah, sure, great, groovy, peachy. What do you need from me? So we got Wayne on the phone. And we said, okay, how are we going to do this, right? Because he's half a world away. Maybe not half a world away, but you know what I mean? He's a good distance away. And we had to figure out, how are we going to do this? But the point that I want to make is that without any concern to his own schedule, to his own travel plans, to everything else he has going on, he was like, Bri, absolutely, I'll take it, we'll go from there. Thus, this whole concept of thinking re-envisioned, it may not have been born in that conversation, but most certainly was catapulted, right? Because Henry agreed to come on and take over All Natural Being and everything that goes into it. Henry agreed to come over and take over the show for that month. Now, when that show was over, when I came back and I was like, okay, I'm feeling better. The doctor said I can, still can't lift more than a gallon of milk. I said, oh, lucky me, I hate milk. Vile liquid. I'll be able to stay right away from that. Good evening, Kelly. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited. Kelly's going to come from time to time and hang out in the studio. It's one of those things where you just like to look over every so often and see a really vibrant, beautiful smile. So I'm looking forward to that. Kelly will be here before too long. We'll throw a camera on her so that she can hang out and we're just going to hang out and banter, talk about whatever comes up, but at least we'll see. Hello, Kelly. We'll see her brilliant smile here on All Natural Being. So getting back to Henry. When it came time for me to come back to All Natural Being, the number of people, the number of emails, the number of tweets that I would get, of instant messages. Stefan, thank you for joining us this evening on All Natural Being. I was just saying the number of instant messages I would get going, oh man, we love Henry. That was really great stuff. We hope he's not going to go away. And then we realized very quickly that we both had so much content that we look forward to doing that it didn't make sense, really, to try to fill a half-hour show with Henry and I going back and forth, but that the best thing to do would be for Henry to have his own show. And everyone was like, applause, applause, that's a great idea. Why don't you do that? So what was born out of that was Thinking Re-envisioned, Transitional Radio, and everything that would go in to me having All Natural Being, and then Henry following up at the bottom of the hour with Thinking Re-Envisioned. And again, just like Henry, he was very gracious and said, yeah, I'll absolutely do it. And then very quickly jumped to within, golly, he may have been second. He was in the top 4 almost instantly, made it to number 2, and stayed there at IPM Nation. So when you total up all the different places that people can go and listen, not just here on Facebook, right, or here in the IPM Nation chat room, but if you look at all the different places that people can go to get the program for transitional radio, he became a big part of the programming just almost as soon as he took over and came in his own show. Thinking Re-Envision jumped. Tim Creasy, yo, my man. Nice to see you as well, brother. I was thinking about you today. I saw something over on LinkedIn for Yeti, and I was thinking about you and hope you're well. So what ended up happening, we're talking, Tim, about the evolution of Thinking Re-Envisioned, is that Henry very graciously said, great, I'll do a show. This would be great. I can keep in contact with the people that want to hear what I'm doing, people that want to hear what I have to say. And once again, putting his own schedule, putting everything else that he was doing, right? I mean, it takes a while to get 40-some pounds of fish from the coast up to his place. But he put his schedule on the back burner, first time to accommodate me, and then secondly, to accommodate all the people that had grown accustomed to hearing him on All Natural Being, and right, which is why I think Think and Re-Envisioned took off the way it did, because they really wanted to hear what Henry had to say. So, oh yes, I also want to mention over here, yes, it was absolutely my intent, I don't know if you can see here, but to have the samurai knocking the troll out. Yes, oh, and the guy with the bow, right, also knocking out the troll. So yes, I want to make mention of that. You both are great, Brian and Henry. Thank you very much, Marcia. Thank you so much. So what I thought we would do tonight is we got a pretty big announcement here. And I'm thinking maybe we can get Henry to call in if he has a chance. We got a pretty big announcement coming, but I wanted to wow, look at that. Talk about the power of radio. Good evening, is this Henry?
Good evening, my friend.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Let me give you a little bit of volume there. There you go.
Yeah, not...
There you go.
Yeah.
So I was just telling the story of how one morning, and you must have been after that like, man, I just can't take Brian's call. When he calls now, I got to be out like, I got to be out taking the garbage out to the street or something. Right, that one phone call committed you for a month to take over the show. And then you were done with that month, you go, great, I can kick back. And everyone's like, kick back? You got to have your own show now. You got to do this and that. And I was just saying, very graciously, you rose to the occasion every time. Right?
Well, no, I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you. And at least, one thing I did find was all of the no cellular connection areas around my house.
Good.
So
I wouldn't know. You can say that, right? You can put duct tape over it to make sure. But what I wanted people to know is that you gave up a huge chunk of what you were doing as an author, as a magazine editor, as a world traveler, as a speaker, as a healer, as all these other things. You gave up quite a bit of that in order to be able to do Thinking Re-Envisioned. So I thought this evening, I would wait for you to give the big drum roll. Oh, wait a minute, I think I have a drum roll. Hold on if you want to hear this. We realized, hold on. No, there we go. Hold on. I need a rim shot to end that whole thing. It's just constant drum roll for the whole 10 seconds if you let it go. But I thought, Henry, that we would have you come on and give us an idea of some of the things that we talked about today. But first, to thank you for running with the baton, watching my back while I was down, then taking the baton and running with it for Thinking Re-Envisioned, running with it for transitional radio and everything that happened because of it. I really just want to thank you. And with that is a setup. Tim Creasy says sound effects. Yes. I wanted you to be able to come on and tell everyone what your immediate future looks like. And I'm making it sound all doom and gloom. You got to let everyone know you're not dying. Everything's good. Everything's great, right? But give them an idea of where you are as an author, as an editor, as a traveler. I mean, you're traveling tomorrow. Give everyone an idea of what's going to happen here in the next days and weeks, and then you and I will kind of fill in around the edges.
Oh, sure, no problem. And I'm not dying. At least I don't think so. So that's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
No, and I do appreciate it. And thanks for all the kind words, Brian. I didn't do anything that I wouldn't have done for my bestest friends. So, so thank you for that, and I really appreciate it. And again, no thanks necessary. Anybody worth their weight in salt would have done this for you, and so I was very grateful that it was me. Thank you for that, and it actually was a great opportunity for me to kind of get out of my comfort zone a little bit and try to experience what it is to really expand and get out there into the public and in the public eye. So again, thank you so much for that opportunity too. So with that, I have a sort of a busy life, which is interesting. Thank God I have a lot of hobbies because retirement would have killed me. But I honestly don't even remember what retirement is anymore. It's gotten so hectic. But I'm writing a lot. I'm writing 2 novels. At least I was writing 2 novels. I got to get back into them. I've got the writing for the Cuenca Expat magazine, which is about to triple in size. They're about to go out to the coast and up into Quito, into the capital of Ecuador.
Wow.
And I just submitted another article to another magazine out of Las Vegas. So I'm doing a lot of writing. A whole host of writing. And I was trying to figure out how to work it all in at the same time, trying to do a radio show that, takes 6, 7, 8 hours of preparation to do a 30-minute show. And I was running out of time. Everything is suffering, and nothing is really gaining from it. And so I really had to make some harsh decisions, and so I think for the time being, I'm going to take the radio side and put it on the back burner so I can actually at least get one of these novels written. And the one I'm really trying to get going is the one that really deals with what I do. It gets the message out, but it gets the message out through fictitious people. So it's going to be a little bit more palatable, I think, to take than having it as a self-help type of book. I think I may offer a self-help type of a book to go along with the novel. But it's a tough thing to go through and make that kind of a decision. That it's hard. I mean, I just love all you guys, and I thank you so much for all of the support that you've given me. I mean, you knew nothing about me actually when you really think about it, and yet you welcomed me with open arms, and I can't thank you enough. I really can't. This has been just a remarkable experience for me, and so what I'm going to try to do is put the radio show on sort of a sabbatical, or on a hiatus for a while, and I'll call into Brian and aggravate you on occasion. I'll certainly do that. We'll try to set up a schedule where I can do that, and in hopes that we'll keep everything still going, still alive. You guys will know I'm still out here, still plugging along, and then gradually, as I get closer and closer to finishing this thing, I can then start to spread back a little bit and get back into doing some of the broadcasts. Maybe not to the extent that I thought I was going to do, or maybe not even in the same format. But perhaps, with Brian's assistance, we can do a 2-on-2 here and just kind of, just get out there and enjoy it, because it really is such a fun medium, and I really do enjoy it. It's hard to say. It's hard to close it up. It's really a tough one. I want to see transitional radio continue. I really would love to see it be successful, because I think that's really what we're working on. It's going to give me a chance now to actually focus also on the magazine's on-air intentions, because they're looking to go on air. The owner of the magazine wishes to go on air, so we'll try to coordinate that with everybody. And then several of the writers are also very much, one is a very big adventurer, and just like Brian, and I would love to get him on here on the show and interview him and get him to talk about Ecuador in general. He's been to places I can't even pronounce in Ecuador, much less have been there. And it's been just a remarkable experience to get that out there. So I'd love to get more of what Ecuador is about out there also. So that will also come under Transitional Radio, as well as Derek, and of course Brian hopefully will maintain it, and with Matt Connerton. I would love to see it really expand. And who knows? I mean, we may just at one day bring back Thinking Re-Envisioned, but we'll have at least a book under our belt, so the credibility will be there too.
And I'm hoping from time to time you can come in on like a Thursday, maybe do something. And I know we talked about you'll post different pictures, different audio clips, different video of what you're doing, moving in and around Cuenca. So that would be great. Moving in and around all of Ecuador, right? Wherever you're going, or any of the trips that you have planned. You know, it's just not like you're traveling all over South America. You got all kinds of cool adventures planned. So what we'll do is we'll try to incorporate that into you calling in to All Natural Being, let everyone know what's going on, and most certainly the shows with Matt and with Lee Rowley, Matt Connerton, and with Lee Rowley and Derek Noel, they'll still continue on the Mortal Up format. So we'll have that all buttoned up, and we're just hoping that you'll call back from time to time and say, hey, here's what I'm into. Like, for example, real pressing stuff. Like, what's the difference, if you could tell me, what's the difference between a squid and an octopus, right? When you go to a fish market and you're like, hey, I bought some squid, I bought some octopus. Well, I don't think I'd know, right? I mean, right? Does one have more legs than the other? How does that work, right? So pressing news items like that, I think people want to hear. I think people want to hear about. That's all I'm saying. I'd like to know, does one give off ink, the other one doesn't? I mean, you're right, real heavy-duty reporting kind of stuff. So we're hoping that will be something that you'll want to come back and continue to do as well.
It would be a lot of fun. It really would be. But we do have we have a lot of trips planned, a lot of things going on. We have several areas in Europe we're looking to be going again, probably in the upcoming year. I've got a real long vacation. Well, it's not a vacation; it's a trip that I really want to take Rita on, and it would be to go from St. Petersburg, Russia, all the way to Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, on the Trans-Siberian Railway.
Wow!
And then take the Orient Express back through Turkey, and so it would be about a 3-month trip where we stop and get off and stay places. And
God,
so I really would love to do that and get her to that. And she wants to go back to Italy again, so I really have to do that. And we have friends in France that have been bugging us to come for years now to come back and visit them, and so we're going to have to do a trip there too. So, and I'm hoping that I can bring some of the equipment, and I'll just do some video and recording from the area and get it posted or send it to you, and maybe even be able to throw in a live show.
I would love it
with you.
Well, that's the nice thing about having Wayne, right? Is he works on all the technical stuff. So if you have a video clip or something, right, you could come into the show, you could call in, but we could highlight the video clip.
Exactly.
You know, something like that in your travels. So that would be fantastic. I'm sure Rita will be excited to have Henry back. But right? We're not all, she's looking at her watch going, what are you doing? Oh, I got to get back to the studio. I got to do at 8:30, bottom of the hour. I got to be ready to go. And I know Wayne will miss, shooting me the little eyeballs watching to make sure that I'm cutting out in time, because it's been a great learning experience for me as well. You know what I mean? Of saying, okay, you got to hit a call time, so I'm going to miss that a little bit. But I would love it if through your different adventures you snapped a picture or two, which I'm sure you'll put up on your Facebook page, but you snapped a picture or two and brought it back. And then maybe you call in and we'll discuss whether it's the pictures or the experience or a video that you may shoot. We would love to have you come back on. But again, it means the world to me. And I thank you again for taking the ball and running with it. And I'll look forward to having the format, because obviously it doesn't have Henry anymore, so it's going to be a slightly different format all the way around. But we'll look forward to maintaining the format so that whenever you want to call in from the road or the different things you're doing, you'll have a place to be able to do just that. So thank you very much again.
Oh, again, it's my honor, man. It absolutely is my honor. Are you kidding? Trying to fill your shoes was literally impossible, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have done that. I would not have met all the people that come on the thread, people that have sent emails, wanting to know what's going on and how do I do this? How do I change?
Right.
And remember, just because I'm going off air, I'm not dying. So,
right.
If anybody wants to continue with some of this stuff that I talk about, don't hesitate. Contact me.
Right.
I mean, you got the email address.
Right.
And so just write. I'd be more than happy to communicate back with you. And if you've got people that that might benefit from some of the stuff we talked about, then send them my direction. I'll be happy to entertain that. That's not a problem.
Very cool. Well, I know Wayne has said he'll publish your 3 different home phone numbers here in the thread, so everyone will have.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, time to get that calling card changed. But Henry, we're gonna let you go. I just didn't want the listeners and everyone else to wonder, what happened to Henry? What happened to Thinking Re-Envisioned? So as soon as we have, and I'm hoping that you'll still, given your travels and your writing schedule, still be able to call in and let us know what's going on during the 81 to win, which will be coming down in March.
I wouldn't miss that for the world.
Well, thank you, my friend. John says, he'll be calling in all the time. Always welcome, I'm sure. Thanks for everything, Henry Noel. Marcy says, thank you so much, Henry, for my virtual acupuncture. I will miss you. I will keep following Brian, of course. I just love the show. Well, thank you, my friend, very much. Henry, we echo those same things here. And why don't we go ahead and close out with your final thoughts? And that will be the end of the All Natural Being show for tonight. I think we're taking tomorrow night off now that I think about it. And we'll be back Wednesday and Thursday for the 398th and the 399th show. We're saving the 400th show for later next weekend. Maybe even we'll do the 400th show on Monday. But Henry, final thoughts before we let you go and before you sign off.
Well, first, I would thank you, everybody. Brian, everybody on the thread, everybody out there listening on the radio. Thank you so much for your support. You have no idea what that means to me. Thank you so very much. In dealing with life, don't take it so bloody serious. It was meant to be enjoyed and not stressed about. So enjoy it, and whatever you have to do to change yourself so that you can simply enjoy your life, enjoy it. It's so short to begin with. We don't need to be spending it with all the doldrums and all of the problems. So enjoy your life, and if there's one thing that you do for yourselves, it's that. Smile, man.
Smile.
Enjoy your life. It is the most precious thing that you can have, and you may as well have fun with it and deal with it on the positive.
Very cool. All right, brother. Guys. Safe travels, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Good night, brother.
Good night, man.
All right, that's going to wrap it for the 397th episode of the #1 rated show here on AllNat, or on IPMNation.com. We happen to call it All Natural Being. As Tim says, great advice. It is, in fact. Henry, that's great advice. And, I have a little coin. I'll show it on Wednesday when we come, but a little coin, a little bit of the Stoic philosophy. And the coin has a picture of the human skull. It's got a picture of an hourglass. It's got a picture of a rose. And it's basically a reminder that, we don't have to be here today. We don't have to be here tomorrow. That, we could go home. We could pass on, whatever you want to call it, die at any time. So you have to live. As Tim says, it's great advice. You have to live with a smile on your face. You have to live standing and taking the chop block of fate and offering your counterpunch live in that moment. All right, we're going to go get out of here. Again, we won't be with you tomorrow night. We will be back Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then also, don't forget, Thursday, we'll be back here for 8 o'clock. And then Thursday evening at 9 o'clock, we will have Copy That Speaks with Mr. Lee Rowley. And we have a great guest lined up for you there as well. Rita, good night. Thank you for everything. Thank you for sharing, Henry, through all of this. We wish you all the best. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Have an absolutely fantastic evening. Good night, everybody.